This is Kiki. Guys, today's guest is one of the most prolific filmmakers of the past 2 decades. Of course, you know him as Madea in films like Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Madea's Family Reunion. You might have seen his TV shows like The Have and Have Nots or The Oval. His new film, Divorce in Black, just on Amazon Prime, July 11th. Tyler Perry, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. I mean, you know and the world knows you're my favorite. I just love the thing about you, and the fact that you're a Virgo just takes it over the top.
Yeah, Virgo season coming up real soon. You know what? I'm so proud of you. I think about how old were you on Madea's Family Reunion?
I was 11 years old.
11 years old, and to see you come this far and have your head on straight and be clear about life, clear-eyed about what you're doing, who you are. I'm just so proud of you. So proud of you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Mr. Perry. I think about it all the time
Mr.
when
Perry,
I was on
Mr. Perry, this is Mr. Perry.
I know, right? In my mind, I go back because I'm like Tyler, but then I'm like, no, he's also Mr. Perry because there's so much respect there. So I go back and forth. But you know, when I was on the set of Madea Family Reunion, that was the first time that I'd ever seen someone play so many different roles. Usually when I'm the director, they were just the director. You know, if I was there with the writer, the writer would say hi and he would just go on. Or the actor would just be in the scenes. But you were all of them. And then you're also producing everyone else. And I remember being blown away like, man, how is this guy able to do this? You would go from Madea, hello, to... So look, I need y'all to turn around and the camera this way.
In costume.
And I think that's where my love affair for you began, because there was just so much power and having that ability and still have so much love and grace, because the whole set was like a family. I always, that's why I fell in love with Atlanta, was my experience on Madea's Family Reunion on a Tyler Perry set, because everybody felt like my aunties and uncles and cousins and just family and friends. So that was a great experience. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's to this day, it's still like that at the studio. It's pretty much, it feels like family. Everybody looks out for each other. Everybody galvanizes around each other to support each other. It's a wonderful place to go to work every day. And that's the only reason I'm still going, is because I'm looking at all these folks coming through the gates, for young folks who have never had an opportunity in this business, and I'm watching them blow up. I'm watching them do amazing things. So I'm proud to be holding this space, and I'm proud to have worked with you so early on.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Like, you know, from myself to thinking about Lance Gross, China Ann playing, you know, Tessa Thompson and For Colored Girls. The list goes on that you've introduced us to that have continued to go on and do great things. So I couldn't agree more that the energy you create there is what allows for that. And I want to talk to you a lot about that, just your entrepreneurship and the groundwork that you've built for this sense of community that's allowed other people to grow. But I, of course, have to stop and talk first about film Divorce in Black that just came out. And that's exciting, right? Because Megan Good, she's my girl, but then she got reunited with Debbie Gordon as her mother in this film, which I think is amazing, because they did Eve's Bayou, and that was the first time that I'd seen her and Journey. And I was introduced to Debbie Morgan, who my parents told me so much about. I want to talk for a second about Divorce in Black and how that came to you.
You know, I heard this voice of this character kept talking to me as I started writing things down. That's how right characters would show up, and she kept telling me she's not a victim. She loved this man. She loved this man. And I had a friend who was going through a divorce, and she called me up late one night, and she was just telling me how much she loved the man that she was with, and how she felt. And I was explaining to her, you can be hurt by what happened, but don't be hurt because you loved him. You weren't a fool. You loved. And when you love somebody purely, love someone from your heart, and you're pure in that love, no matter which way it goes, not bad about the love that you gave, because that's real. That'll find its way back into your life. So as I explored all of that and started writing, I wanted to make sure that Ava wasn't a victim, that Megan Good's character was strong. But also I wanted her to represent a lot of people, women, men, who try to love somebody out of a place of pain that they're in without having all the tools to get them out of that space.
Yes.
No, I saw the look on your face. Yeah, what you trying to... You went deep right there.
And I mean, I feel that way about so many of your films, where they have this vibe of being fun, like thriller, but then when you get down to it, the message is actually going to hit home. But to you, Mr. Perry, what do you say to that? You know, when you are in that situation where you're seeing people in your life, and I'm sure being as successful as you are, you have friends, loved ones that you just get them out of their own way. What do you then do with those feelings? You just let them go?
Yeah, listen to me. I had to learn to choose myself. because there are people in moments that if you keep trying to drag them up to higher altitudes, can't breathe, they will die. Some people have only been equipped in their life with their life lessons or what they've learned to go to a certain level. That's it. I have been guilty so many times of trying to pull some. You can do it. Come on up. Come on up. And it's usually the very people that you invest the most in, that you try and help the most, will be the same ones who turn around and try to destroy you because they feel like the jealousy or you went to a place way further than they ever thought you should go. So what I've learned in this is I have gotten to a place in my life at 54 years old where I look at people and go, okay, tell me who you are, and I'm going to believe you. Show me. I'm not going to argue with you. I can't pull you up here if you don't know how to handle this altitude. So stay you are. You're not a bad person. You're not wrong, but you don't know how to live up here. You don't know how to live at this level. So God bless you. Stay there, and I can for you on that level. But don't try to come up here and kill me because you are not able to handle this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I received that. I remember seeing you say something to that about this altitude, and it's a great metaphor because it's also true. Look, if you're gonna die up here, then I should leave you behind because it's better for you to figure out what's going on that playing field before you come up and survive. You know, you were saying if a lot of people may not have expected me to end up where I am. Well, you started out in the chitlin circuit. What was your mind then? You know, were you always seeing yourself as someone that could get into film and things like that, or were you just a creative that wanted to just get your work?
Dry Skin is Hydro Boost Water Cream, a germ-tested cream that offers 9 times the hydration. Made with hyaluronic acid, its creamy, lightweight texture melts into the skin. For replenished, dewy, glow skin. Grab it at your nearest store today.
Out there.
I had one goal. I need to make money to take care of my mother because she was ill. I wanted to retire her. She was working with a bunch of kids, and kids are little petri dishes for germs. And so she was always constantly sick, and she had diabetes. So all my entire focus was to let me just make enough money to take care of her. And I had been through being homeless and poverty all my life. So when I got a little bit of money, I said, okay, nothing seemed to be enough. No amount of money was enough to take care of my mother. Nothing comfortable. And I found myself in this place where I was uncomfortable all of my whole life while she was alive because no matter how much I had, it wasn't enough. So that's where it started. That's where the grind started. The working so hard started. It was all about, can I take care of her? And what I can say about my audience, if they never did anything else for me, they allowed me to take care of her to the day she died and give her a life that she never imagined. That for me, that's all I need to be grateful forever, right? But yeah, out in the stage shows, I didn't go into Hollywood. I didn't come in through that system, so I didn't the stamp or the carving that system will give you. It'll carve into a hole, into a box, and you have to operate in that box. Well, I was malleable and loose, so I didn't come in through that, so I could do things outside of the box. And I think that's put me in this position. So I'm grateful for not coming through Hollywood.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. So when you did go into Hollywood, I think the first thing you did was Diary of a Mad Black Woman, one of your plays. Why did you choose that one to be your first film?
Because I knew it would hit. I knew, I got to Hollywood and the white folks that didn't be them, and them white folks at the desk were like, what is this? We're not going to do that. But I knew I had all them black folks who had seen it all over the country. And I knew what it meant for them to stand with me. So when it opened at #1, everybody in town was scratching their head. I'll never forget, it was Oscar weekend. Everybody scratching their head like, where is this? Who is Tyler Perry person? So it was because of all those people that I was able to do that. And still to this day continue.
And it's so amazing when I think about it because I remember before I even became an entertainer, I started doing performing when I was about 9 years old. But Medea, Tyler Perry had existed before then. So I remember being in Chicago. Oh my God, I remember going to my uncles and aunts' house and they're like, have y'all seen the new Tyler Perry play? And they'll put it on and we're watching it. It was just insane. And I actually used the model that you had of your work already existing and being big, and you having that kind of proof, that data, and being able to empower yourself in the film industry. I used a lot of that when I had to revamp my career, from being an entertainer and reaching this moment where everybody was kind of like, okay, you've grown up, this is what we see for you, going to fit into this box, then that's that. So I turned to digital. It wasn't necessarily stage shows, but I chose digital as a way to produce my own work and kind of set this for who I wanted to be. And if you want to get a part of that, then you can, because look, I have this audience rocking with me. So either jump on board or not. And something I wanted to point out as well was when you started working with Lionsgate, I read that you had a deal that They would co-produce and distribute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think that is such an important thing when we're having this conversation about ownership and entrepreneurship and what intellectual property means to the creator. How did you know to do that? And how hard did you have to for it?
It wasn't a fight for me because that was a non-negotiable. I was not going to negotiate with anybody about that. And because I had that audience that had been with me, who had made me pretty going into Hollywood, I didn't need them. I was selling DVDs from my website at the time, and they were bootlegged everywhere. But people were finding them. But I wasn't to give up ownership is a non-negotiable because what happens is I know what that does for your future and for your power and for what. It's the difference in waiting for somebody to give you a job or knowing that a check is going to be in the mailbox whether you have a job or not. So I wanted to build this legacy and for my son and my future, even though I didn't know he was coming at the time. But also watching Oprah own her show. It was that example that I was like, oh, well, what does that mean she owns her show? Wait, that means? So even from the beginning when I was doing the stage shows, like my name had to be on the marquee and my name had to be on the tickets and the promoters would get mad. Who's this kid think he is? Why he was building a brand? I knew that in order to build that, people have to remember the name. If you are to stand out, you got to have something that they remember. It's all started from my father who worked for a white man building houses. I say white man for a reason. Worked for a white man building houses and was a subcontractor. So on the weekend, he'd get his $800 and he'd be so happy he got paid. But I watched the white guy sell the house for $80,000. I'm like, why won't you take the money and build your own house and sell it? Him and my mother coming from a Jim Crow South, they were telling me that kind of thing is for white folks. They can't do it. But everything in me was going, that's not true. I can own the house too. So that's what this is about, owning the house and building it from that point of view.
How did you tap into knowing that, right? Because we can feel these ways, but the action that you put behind it and the follow through is what makes the difference. The people that you surrounded yourself with, were you reading? You know, what was that made you know that those were the steps you had to take?
All I can tell you, for me, I have a divine grace on my life that I call the grace of God, that I just follow. If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it. I say, that doesn't feel right. Let me go this direction. And I've agents in Hollywood be really upset with me because I wouldn't do this. Do you know how much money? That's not what I want to do. That doesn't feel right. I want to go this way. And they would always tell me, that's work. Like with House of Pain, you know, when I went to do the episodes, they said, only do one, and pilot will shop it around. It's like, no, I feel like I need to do 10. I'm going to do 10. So I did these first 10. They sat in the can for ever. Nobody wanted them. And then UPN and WB or WB and one of them, they became the CW. There was a merger. All were without programming. So they started calling around, what do you have? Somebody said, this guy in Atlanta's got these 10 episodes. They put it on. The ratings were higher than what was there before. So it was like being prepared. Right? So I have constantly in prayer, I want to be prepared for what's coming next. What is the next moment that's coming? I want to be clear about it. Like when I built my first studio, by the time I got to this one I'm in now, when I saw it, I thought, if I had seen it, this is too much land. But I learned to build for where I was going and not where I was. So all these things happened in progress as I was growing and working and paying attention to everything.
What are you doing in those in-between times when you're making these leaps? Because they are leaps of faith. Like you said, you're creating for where you're going, but you have the faith that you're going there. What are you thinking in the in-between time that's helping you maintain when things get, you know, weird? Versace, bright crystal.
Well, listen, I was homeless and out on the street, and nothing for me was darker than that period except growing up in my father's house. So I know how to do that. I know how to figure out what to eat, and I know how to be poor. The challenge wasn't that I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have an option or a choice. So the option of the choice was, how do I go higher? How do I have more? How do I embrace that? How do I embody what God has for me? And also the understanding, getting too worthy. We as a people struggle with being worthy. And I'm telling you, sitting in this seat and having all kinds of friends who have been wealthy since they were kids, and the level of they are supposed to have, level of I deserve it, it was powerful to see, because then I see black people going, oh no, that's too much, I don't know. No, what happened to this mentality? You're here, why not? If they can, we can too. So that's what I want people to get and understand fully. Just open yourself up to being worthy of it. I'm worthy of this. I should have good health. My kids should be able to do well. I shouldn't be struggling waiting for the next check. We have a pathology as black people of, well, we're only going to get when the money is gone, which means that you work 2 weeks, you got to spend all that before more money comes.
Yeah.
We got to get past all of that so we can get to a place where I can have more than I deserve, more than enough. Our ancestors already paid for everything we have, and we're not taking advantage of it. And there's nothing more frustrating, especially like I love you, your hustle, your grind. But when I'm seeing people your age and younger looking at folks on Instagram thinking that's how my life should be, and they don't want to put the work in or the time, like no, because what you're seeing ain't really real.
No, it's not
so
real.
I want people to really fully get it. You know, I have people that I've worked with, and I'm like, I know what they're making, and I'm looking at private jets and traveling the world and go, who paying for this jet?
Okay, I see it myself too.
yeah. Who paying for this jet? Who paying for this jet?
And I think it's important what you said about the working hard. Also wearing so many hats. You kind of write everything. You don't even have a writer's room when you're juggling all these different hats. I mean, what time do you feel when to push back and to let someone else come in and help you and assist?
Over the last 2 years, I'm in writers' rooms, and we've had them on the sitcoms, but now I've brought them in on other shows. I've trained enough young directors to be able to understand how to edit, and so they're able to do a huge page count like I can. I've trained them how to watch for waste and time. So now I'm at a place in my life where I'm going, okay, I got it. I've set that up. They're doing great. I can let them take it. I'm completely fine with, all of these shows are over 100 episodes, so the characters are developed. I've written all of you guys, take it and run with it. So I'm at a really good place now. But it's very important to know when to let go. Like for me, I realized at this age is that if I keep holding on to little things, then it's missing the huge opportunities that I should be focusing on. So you can find the right people to take up the banner and run with those areas.
And I love how you're talking about the system that you've created with TP Studios of just being able to train people in your way. That you have a particular way. When I see something that Tyler Perry presents, I know what I'm going to get as a fan that has been a fan for all of these decades. When it comes to your craft and your style, how much of that, your choice to own, was to also be able to control creativity with the projects and not allow other people to take it?
Well, that's ownership. It's everything. The creativity of it, what's put on screen, how it goes, and so on and so forth. And early on, I was taking a lot of heat because, this was wrong and that was wrong, but people didn't understand that I didn't have the budgets that everybody else had. And what is important to me clearly with that, because when I would do a show, the first thing I do is go buy a camera, go buy a light, go buy this. How much did we spend renting this stuff? Buy it. So I started buying all this stuff and buying all this equipment. So now when I'm doing a movie, I'm renting it to myself for the movies.
Tyler, I think it's so important that you're saying what you're saying, because I think this is also why a lot will never get their projects off the ground, because they're expecting everything to be perfect, and they're not understanding that ownership and doing it on your own and having the independence of starting and finishing something, whether it's perfect or not, it's going to guide you to get to that next level and to continue to perfect it over time. But when you are owning it and when you are having it, it is yours. So yes, it's pivotal. It's the key piece here to say, yeah, okay, maybe this was off, maybe that was that, but I own it. And me being able to do all that stuff is what allowed me to be able to invest in this big studio. If I was trying to just go all over here and there and doing more than what I could maintain myself, then I would not be able to be where I'm at now. I'm so happy you said that.
Listen, I've seen some incredibly brilliant, amazing films. I've seen some young writers and directors do some stuff and I go, wow. And I've seen it make crazy amounts of money. But then I look at what they made and I go, it crushes me. Because my thought is, why not write something this brilliant, smaller, and get your budget, own it, and then license it to the bigger companies and make that money, and it lives forever coming back to you. Don't just sell your soul because they think, this is how it is. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. Yeah.
And don't think that you have to start already having it all together. I think that's an important thing. Just start with what you have.
Do the best with what you have. Do the absolute with what you have. Take the heat, take the hits, and keep getting better and better and better and better. And the great thing about my audience, man, is that they have been with me from day one going, Tyler, you need to fix this. Tyler, that was good. Tyler, we love that. Oh, he gets better now. Y'all watch him, So I love it, man. I love it.
16 grams of protein, no artificial anything. Siggy's. sets you free. Imagine this. It's Sunday morning. There are piles of laundry that need to be put away and dust bunnies that need to... You have a full day of adulting in front of you and all you want is to be transported away. Begrudgingly, you pick up a broom and ready yourself to start sweeping. But wait, you're forgetting the most important part. You open up the Audible. Suddenly, the universe is infinite. The power to transport yourself to another world where laundry and dust bunnies don't matter as in the palm of your hands. Through storytelling, Audible can take you from the comfort of your living room to the streets of central LA with Snoop Dogg forming Death Row Records in a matter of seconds. Tuning in to the Audible original, From the Streets to the Suites. Written and read by none other than friend to the show, Snoop D-O-double-G. Y'all know I have been an Audible girly for years at this point, and they're gonna have to send someone if they ever my Audible originals. I mean, just knowing that at any given moment I have the world's biggest book selection in my pocket fills me with so much joy. As a lifelong story and listener, I understand the comfort and exhilaration of a well-produced story. Audible has them in spades. And not just any old regular story either. No, Audible is here to take audio storytelling to the next, creating unrivaled listening experiences and innovative original content that take with you anywhere. While traveling, working out, walking a dog, doing chores, you decide. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Plus, you can seller or new release to keep forever. That's right. There's more to imagine when you listen. Try Audible today at audible.com/Kiki. That's audible.com/KEKE. You know, upon reflection of my many years of vacationing and hot girl antics, I've noticed I've always had great experiences with Airbnb. I mean, so much so that I've actually celebrated several birthdays in some of Airbnb's most loved homes. And it makes sense because with Airbnb, I can be my own travel agent and find a spot that matches the celebration vibes I'm in the mood for. Like lounging by the pool and kikiing with the girls and maybe some time for a little turn up. Airbnb has for all of that. Take my 27th birthday, for example. I spent it in Orlando with four of my closest friends and we stayed in what can only be described as an MTV Cribs worthy house. Okay, I'm talking fabulous decor, lavish finishes, the work. Part is that I got to share this gorgeous little private hideaway with my best Judies. Okay, we stayed up all night talking mess, eating good food, and frolicking in the pool. No stress, no looking
This one
just
getting hot.
a beautiful birthday in a
Oh
stunning
my
location.
God.
People I love most. And guess what? I did it again on my 30th birthday. But this time, we got a bigger, even more private crib and really leaned into the tranquil nature of it all. We had masseuses come in, and you know the jacuzzi was bubbling all night long. We were getting pampered and polished, okay? Thanks to all these magical experiences, I know that I can trust Airbnb to deliver during the moments that matter most, like the ones spent with friends and family.
Oh, Lord.
Now, go book yourself an Airbnb and see how right I was. Holla at your girl. So clearly you're a prolific artist, but you're also a philanthropist, okay? In 2009, you made the largest ever individual donation to the NAACP. And in 2010, you donated $1 million to aid recovery efforts.
$1 million, Ms.
In 2017, you pledged $1 million
What?
to support victims of Hurricane Harvey. During the pandemic, you left a $21,000 tip at a restaurant in Atlanta. I mean, do you consider yourself more of an artist or more of a philanthropist, or is it all tied into? Like, how do you view that?
I'm Maxine's baby when it comes to giving. My mother, her heart was like that. Like and you know, those beautiful things. My son, he gives. If he has something, I see him giving it to people, and it's beautiful, but heartbreaking in the sense of I know what it feels like to give and give and give, and then have people not appreciate it or have it taken advantage of. So I worry about that for him because I know what he's going to face. But my mother's heart was very much, you know, she wouldn't give you money. She would not give you the money. But if you needed food or shelter, like I would wake up in the morning on Saturday and step out of the bed, somebody would be sleeping on the floor. I'm like, who is that? She's like, shh, they need a place to stay, right? So that's what she gave me. So when I hear a story and I see somebody, and some people might be like, oh, babe, I'm going to pray for you. I'm like, no, I can pray, but I can help you too. But I have to be led to do it. Like, I don't just do it randomly. It has to be something that finds, really pay attention to it, and I want to get involved.
You know, Tyler, you have a unique style in your films where I will never forget the scene in Medea's film reunion with Lynn Whitfield, and they're in that bathtub, and you're going to tell her about this deep, nuanced nuance. I think with your films, it was the opportunity of not just the celebratory, but also the dark underbeddings of things that we were speak about. But then there's also this commerciality to it where it's also for everyone. When you're creating this stuff where you're going to talk about things on major topics, how do you balance, or is it even in your mind, okay, we got to make sure this is commercial? Like, was that ever a thing that you were thinking of, or is that just the taste of your work?
It's just for years and years of being on stage, understanding that there are really, really important things that we needed to talk about as Black people that we weren't, that was destroying us, that was tearing us apart. But also understanding how when it's wrapped in a joke, that's like surgery. So that was always the thing. Let me do these big, stupid, ridiculous, hella broad jokes, and get into some real deep stuff that we need to talk about. And I think that anybody who is intellectual can watch it and go, oh, I see what he's doing here. It's not just this big, broad, ridiculous concept. Some things that need to be addressed. Yeah.
Yes, it's this very unique version of satire that I adore, and also allows us to really hit these personal messages. I've talked about it, since being introduced to you, where I seen In a Strange Loop, and then I had a really great conversation with Justin Simeon, the writer and director, where he had a conversation with you about the criticism that you receive, that they then as a creative start to actually look back at themselves and say, well, wait a minute, is it really Tyler that I should be, that he is the face of this, or should I be mad that we only get one face at a time? And it was really impactful when he told me that he called you, because I was like,
but don't
yes,
panic,
that's amazing.
don't panic.
No, I called that and told him I was going to beat his ass. That's how it started.
Why you funny?
No, but the truth of the matter is this. When I think about somebody like him or somebody who has something to say, I'm like, great, you have your opinion. Listen, I live from this seat, measured, patient, prayerful, and disciplined. I'm always disciplined about everything. I step back, I count, I watch, I see which way I need to move. I don't rush into comments or do anything. I'm patient with it. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was sad for him, because I think he's really, really talented. And why can't you tell a story have anything to do with what your disdain for what I do? Because your disdain for what I do says more about you than me and the people that love what I do. Yeah. So you got to be careful when you start talking about Tyler's movies and shows of this, because you're talking about a whole bunch of millions of people around the world who don't just want to see a Spike Lee joint, but they can still sit back and laugh and relax and have a good time watching something like this. But mess them all up with 6 AAA.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, and I love everything that you said, because I feel the exact same way. Everybody deserves to be able to tell the stories from their vantage point, and as Black people, I think it's really important, because we can't win for losing. Either it's too deep, or it's too this, it's too that, and then it goes up against what we're all truly crying for, which is to need to be diverse and to just be a creator and to tell the stories we want to say. And like you said, it does represent more about you, and I don't know if you got a chance to see the musical Loop, but that's what it came back to, because there was criticism in that show as well about this young Black writer who wants to be able to tell his stories, and there's like Tyler, and then he comes back to the end and he admits exactly what you just said, where this is actually a representation of my personal disdain, the things that I don't want to see, the things that I don't want to be, and that's what art is supposed to do for us. So I love that you never allowed that criticism to stop you from being able to have your authentic voice as an artist. Really,
had a little oopsie right there.
Yeah, but no. You got to drown all of that out, because if you let somebody talk you out of a place that God is you in, you are going to find yourself in hell. I know for a fact what I'm doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because for everyone who is a critic, I have thousands of used to be emails from people saying, this changed my life. Oh my God, you know me. Oh my God, you saw me. How did you know this about my life, my family? So that is what is important. We're talking a large portion of my fans who are disenfranchised, who cannot be Volvo and go to therapy on the weekend. Yes. So you've got this highbrow Negro who is all up in the air with his nose up looking at everything. And then you got people like where I come from and me who are grinders, who really know what it's like, whose mothers and who were cared by kids and were maids and housekeepers and all of these beauticians. Don't discount these people and say that their story don't matter. Who are you to be able to say which Black story is important or should be told? Get out here with that boy.
Yes, yes, and that is
Yeah.
what we come up against. It's like you
Yeah.
said, the respectability politics that we're always pushing up against, which at the end of the day, what we are facing and what we are oppressed against, it doesn't matter how well you speak, it doesn't matter how well you walk, it doesn't matter how well you do anything. If somebody's going to not like you, they're going to not like you, period.
Right.
So holding ourselves to these unbelievable standards that stop us from being able to tell our true stories and connect to one another, it only, like you said, puts us in a personal hell and doesn't allow us to really be all that we're meant to be because we're too busy trying to fit into somebody else's idea.
Listen, what I always say is don't worry about being in somebody's box because when you die, they're going to put you in one. So you may as well just live your life outside of
That's
the box.
funny. Gonna put you in the box anyway.
And I know that is a really difficult question.
No lie, burn up.
That's right now where it's
Oh
just
my God.
and it's usually the latest thing. Like,
Burn me up.
In the Black is really, really great for what it is. Mia Culpa's great for what Medea's great for what it is. But the thing that really moved me recently that I enjoyed every day being on the set with my last two films, which is Jazzman's Blues and Six Blade. So both of those films are where my passion is right now. So, but I love what Divorce in the Black is going to do, you know? So I love playing in all the areas. Triple A, hands down, has to be the one I'm most proud of.
When it comes to the heavy hitting issues that you speak about, I know you say a lot of times that for you, creating was about escaping your trauma and, going into a fantasy world, but you still don't shy away from putting trauma and hardship.
Yeah, it's gonna be a part 3, but I'm almost finished. And that's crazy. Lay down acrylic. That's nothing. Oh Lord. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a part 2.
But think about life. Like today we're happy and smiling and great, and then something happens. You got to get serious and do the
All right, y'all. So it's gonna be a part 3. So I will be back, and then we're gonna add the chains and all that stuff. So we're done adding the